Hi everyone, welcome to the Liverpool Connection Podcast. This is my music and football episode where I bring on a DJ, a producer, musician to talk about the two loves, which is music and football. Today I've got an absolute legend. He's one of the original pioneers of jungle and drum and bass. He's label boss of Cartoons, and it's just an absolute pleasure to have him on as a guest. As I always say, I try and bring on people that I've grown up with musically, and I've definitely grown up with Nicky's music, and all I keep hearing from all the drum and bass guests that I've had on is he's such a nice fella. So he's going to, hopefully he'll prove it. But I'm very honoured and proud to have Nicky Blackmarket on as a guest. You're
Good morning, Daz. Good morning.
You're an absolute legend.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. That's nice.
And if you didn't know, he's a QPR fan. And if you're in the States, if you don't know what QPR is, it's Queen's Park Rangers, which is a football team in the Championship. So, yeah, again, the two loves, music and footy, mate.
Yeah, they go hand in hand, don't they, really?
They do.
We're probably majority of people, I would say, it goes hand in hand, really. Majority of people like both, I'd say. They like music and football. I mean, football is, maybe not so much where you are, but it's growing in the States. It's growing and growing. The MLS is like, it's getting bigger and bigger. You're getting a lot of European players coming out and playing for all these teams, and I think the teams are getting stronger and stronger, and the coaches are probably really scouting out, good local American talent in all your states. So it's getting bigger and better, and what Beckham has done, gone over there and opened up the field, as it were. Really, I think.
Well, I think you've got the World Cup next year. So and that's massive for them.
Looking forward to that. I want to come out there for that, definitely.
Yeah. Oh, are you? Yeah, I mean, it's we have where I'm based out of, Austin, Texas. We have a professional football team now, MLS, which is the Austin FC, and it's a great little stadium. I think it holds like 25,000, but it's
you get many people there.
Yeah, it's always packed.
Well, that's it then. I mean, they can always extend it, make it bigger. 20,000 is. I mean, that's QPR's attendance.
Yeah.
Mad about that.
That's the thing. For football over there to do well. Players like Messi, Suarez, as you alluded to as well, Beckham. Like they've just made it better. Like. The great thing I think about football, Nicky, is you only need a football. Like American football, if you want to play that, you've got to get the helmet, you got to get the pads.
Get all the things, yeah.
But football,
all you got to do is you got to have the ball. That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, look, when we were kids out in the street, out in the yard, in the block of flats I used to live, just we used to play in the block.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was a big sign up. No ball games, but nobody bothered about that. Do you know what I mean? No one bothered about that, and that's where it all starts. And then you go over the park, you play over the park, and it's wonderful.
Yeah, I missed that. How many windows have you broken? I broke a few.
I mean, yeah, quite a few, quite a few. In my time, I mean, I used to be a cricketer when I was a kid as well, and I could have played professional cricket, believe it or not. Thinking of it, I had scouts coming looking at me at a young age, but then I'd done my knee in on a motorbike accident about 5 months prior to that, weakened my knee, and my knee came out, and then the rest. I mean, I was getting heavily into music anyway. The rest is history. Do you know what I mean? Just was getting heavily into the music, and that's it. It's like sliding doors,
Yeah. I want to ask you, who's your footballing childhood hero?
Oh, gosh, Um, oh God, that's quite a few. Stan Bowles was immense. Stan Bowles was an incredible player. He'd turn it on. You know, he'd he'd go on, and no matter how you wouldn't know if he was pissed or if he was. Do you know what I mean? Whatever, he'd go on the pitch and turn it on. And I mean, probably. Who else? I mean, the era that I really started to go football was '82, and we had Terry Venables as manager then, and that was a big, immense era for me, I think, in football, because we were one of the first teams to put the Astro pitch down, and he wanted to do so many different things, and then Barcelona came in for him, and then he went there, and it's funny because he did say to the chairman, let me build what's going on here, let me get on the board, let me build. And if he would have stayed, I mean, God knows what about him. He wanted to put a roof over the thing, roof over the ground, and all kinds of different, he was incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, I think when Barca comes calling, though, it's one of those, isn't it? Like,
different, yeah, and a different era as well. And yeah, I mean, when I was a kid, I remember standing up, because obviously it was terracing back then, and I remember when I was a kid getting squashed behind the bar. You used to have the bar, and I was only small, and I remember getting squashed in there, and obviously the whole Hillsborough thing, and that everything got changed, and yeah, rightly so, really, that everything is seating now. But I look back on it and I just think, even I remember going to Wembley. We went to Wembley Milk Cup final against Oxford '86, and I just remember, like, yeah, because you used to get the surges, like everybody would surge forward and to be squashed, and it's like, just think, that could never happen again. Now, that could never happen in today's age. Do you know what I mean? So obviously the attendance, they put the capacity down, because obviously they've got to put seats in there or make it bigger. That's just how it was. I suppose logical progression, really. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, my granddad had to put me on his shoulders quite a few times, because of the bars.
Yeah.
But it was just a different time back then, Nicky.
It was an absolute different time. I mean, it's like I went to Thailand recently. I've done a tour. Me and Fat Man D done a tour of Australia and Thailand. And when we got over to Thailand, it was like, this reminds me of back home in the 70s. There's no health and safety. It's bonkers. The whole family are riding on a motorbike. The whole family, no helmets, nothing. There's a guy up on doing the roofing or whatever without any scaffolding, on one foot and balancing and all that. I'm thinking, this is bonkers. But it just reminded me probably back home in the 70s. Do you know what I mean? Crazy, but yeah, that's how it was.
Yeah, not so much health and safety in the 70s or early 80s.
Yeah, that's how it was. It was a different era. Like I remember going Wembley, and like I said, we had so many people in there. I'm sure that wasn't, we had, I don't know, maybe 50, 60,000 in there. It shouldn't have been, you know what I mean? And then you had Oxford with all their people, but we had, because it was in London as well, it's like so many people. I remember just getting like sardines. Do you know what I mean? I thought, the funny thing is, that game we all thought we were going to smash Oxford to bits, and then we lost 3-0. We lost 3-0, and it was Jim Smith's team because he came over to us, and it was Jim Smith's team that he created in Oxford, over at Oxford. But then he came over to us, so we made that team, and they battered us.
Do you remember?
And then, in the semi-final, we beat you.
Yeah.
In the semi-final. That's it. Yeah.
The good old milk.
Draw. I think we beat you. We beat you at Loftus Road, I think it was, and then it was a draw up yours, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a long time ago.
86. Yeah. Crazy.
Well, I mean, that's when QPR were actually. I think you did the Milk Cup final and then FA Cup final, right?
That was 82. Yeah.
82, 83 against Spurs.
Tottenham.
Was it against Spurs?
Tottenham.
Yeah. I mean, you're doing pretty well in the mid 80s. Do you?
That was Terry Venables, Eltel's team. That was incredible.
It was just. I remember just some good football, but like I remember going to Loftus Road quite a few times, and just that pitch was just so bizarre.
Yeah.
You know, because you were the first ones to.
You're right on top. You're right on top of the pitch. Loftus Road. You're right on top of it. Wicked atmosphere.
Yeah.
It has a magical. I love it. I mean, the thing is, there's rumours that we're going to leave there and all that. I think the moment we leave there, we're in trouble. That's what I think. The moment we leave there, we're going to be in trouble because you got the likes of, I don't know, like what's happened in the past to Coventry, and you know where they went in with the council, and it's not the one. It's not the one. And that's when you can get in trouble, really. And look, all these teams up and down the country, they've got massive support bases. Do you know what I mean? You can't forget about that. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I think that you know, like I would say West Ham, Upton Park had so much history, and now they've got that massive stadium. I think it's lost its soul. It's just like some people were talking, you know, even some Liverpool supporters are like, we need a bigger stadium. We should move. I'm like, no, because you lose the heart and soul of it. And I'm glad the owners.
The best thing is if there is any way of building up or out. I mean, even I've been over to, when I went over, I remember going over to Bernabeu. I went over to see La Liga game, Real Madrid. And I remember when you go into the ground, they've gone down in it. Mm-hmm. They've actually built down to make it bigger. So it's like it really is like a fishbowl now. It's amazing. Mm-hmm. It's incredible. You get more people in, they've dug down.
Yeah, it's just keep the heart and soul. I mean, for me, obviously, you know, I'm not a massive Everton supporter. And Goodison Park, you know, is a great place to go, especially if you're an away supporter. It's just, I like these smaller grounds. I mean, like Palace have a perfect stadium. I think they have
Selhurst Park. Yeah, exactly.
Some of the best
up and down the country. There's all grounds like that up and down the country, and it's like even when you go, so when we drop down to League One, which is the old third division, when we drop right down and go into all these little grounds, it was fun. It was wicked. It was exciting, and you know, going somewhere you haven't been for maybe whatever, or you've never been before. You know, there's loads of people that turned up and wanted to go because they'd never been there before. You know.
Well, that you know, part of the whole experience is the whole trip. You know, getting on the train, getting on a boat if you have to. But you know, the away days for me was some of my favourite times because I got spend a whole day with my granddad. You know, just chatting absolute shite. You know, with everyone singing and everything, and I think that's one of the biggest reasons. You know, one of the biggest things I do miss about living over here is doing the away thing because America is so big. You know, if
you can't go to Austin,
to New York, just like that.
Can't go like an away Austin game or whatever, can you?
Yeah, and unless you're loaded, you know, you're gonna have a fine.
I mean, and it's not, and in America, it's not really that much of a big thing, is it? The travel the away support?
Nah, not really. I mean, like I know New York has two. I think they still have two teams, so that's easy. But I mean, if you're a New York fan and you want to go and see them play Galaxy in Los Angeles, I mean that's a $600-700 trip.
Well, even if you've got to go 2 states away, that's like going to Germany, England to Germany or something. It's still a trek, isn't it? Still
Mhm.
like could be an 8 to 10 hour like car ride.
Yeah, yeah. Just to get out of Texas, you've got to drive 8-9 hours. And that's just insane. So it's just I wish that there was more like away support over there. I think that's how it'll grow
Yeah.
a bit more. But yeah, it's just so spread out. But do you remember your first match?
Um, it, what was the first game? The first football game I went to was in Wembley actually to see the university teams play Oxford and Cambridge, and I was I can't remember how young I was. I was young at that point, and yeah, Oxford and Cambridge University. I remember going with the school, and that was kind of like like the first kind of especially like the old Wembley. It was it wasn't it wasn't completely packed because it was like the university team, but yeah, that was kind of big. But yeah, QPR, I mean, the first it was I was still been yeah, I was still a kid, and obviously it was standing up behind the goal, and just the excitement. Do you know? And you're hooked. Then do you know what I mean? Getting a burger half time, going to get a hamburger at half time, and you got your program, and it's the smell of burgers.
Mhm.
I know it sounds bad, but that smell of the burger van. I mean, I don't like it anymore, but it used to be that used to be the thing of the remembrance of the football match day. Do you know what I mean? Hamburger with onions, fried onions.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, well, I think when you're younger, your smells and everything, and your hearing is wide open. Like
Yeah.
for me, for the cop, I just remember the smell of piss because everybody used to like piss in a newspaper. So that's what I grew up like smelling, strong piss. And like you said, the onions as well. Yeah, grilled onions.
The onions
Always
with the
got that.
burger.
Yeah, so it was that
You like
smoke.
onions with that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's just
Yeah.
and as a
Yeah.
kid, just grow up and I think you know I miss all that. As a football supporter, like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
do go back home. I go to the matches, but it's. I mean, as soon as I walk up and I see the green grass of the pitch, I smell the pitch. Like you can just smell like freshly watered grass.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Obviously, back then was different, where it could have been
yeah,
a
yeah,
mud in. That's how it was. And I think, to be honest, back in the day, you had to be I would say a better footballer, but to navigate around that like a mud bath. You know what I mean? It's a mud bath. How it was. I mean, some players probably would refuse to play on that kind of thing nowadays.
mm, yeah. Well, I mean, you always knew who was trying the hardest because their kit would just be completely muddy. So the
Yeah,
ones who had like the
it's,
full on
yeah,
white
yeah.
kits, yeah, you're not trying hard enough. But I mean,
No,
uh,
get stuck in.
we always hark. I always hark on about the good old days where you could actually tackle in football. Now you can barely like touch a player.
You can't touch them now.
Yeah, I miss the good old like, slide tackle. There was nothing better than a slide tackle.
Not even a card, nothing. You know what I mean? Just get up, get on with it.
Yeah. Magic sponge and the bucket that you don't know what kind of water was in that bucket, but I'll tell you what, it made the player get up. Nowadays, like they're off on a stretcher, like with a pulled muscle. You'd have to have 2 broken legs to actually, and they'd still probably walk off the pitch back then.
Yeah.
Just times have changed, but still, I think the football.
Well, I mean, it's like when you're thinking about, there's a documentary a little while ago as well, how like it's saying about Sky TV really, the whole satellite TV changed football as it was, because everybody, Saturday afternoon, 3:00, that's what it was all about. Going to the game. It was all about going to the game. And now everyone's got subscriptions and, deals with around the world. With, got different companies, got different deals around the world. And it's just like, it's obviously it's completely changed now. But those times there, I don't want to keep saying, those were the days, but they were. They really were, though, weren't they? Really?
No, they were. They were good old days for us. Maybe not for some other people, but for me, it was just because it reminds me of my granddad. And again, like I said, he's the one that took me to my first match, because my dad was into rugby, so he just didn't have time for football. He just thought football was for fairies, my granddad used to have arguments with me dad all the time, I missed the good old days, but football now is played at such a high level, like the championship. I love those games as well.
Oh, the championship.
Yeah, because they just seem like
the championship. I'm not joking. It is such a hard, difficult league. It's one of the hardest leagues in the world. Mm-hmm. Everybody wants to get to the promised land, but it's that you could get relegated. It's easily to go down into the third tier. It's so easy. We were lucky this year. We escaped. We escaped, even though we went on a run and we nearly got to the playoffs, and then we started dipping again. We had about 8 injuries, and then we just started dropping a bit, and then we were lucky really to escape relegation. But it's such a hard league. It's even for those teams that get relegated, it's not easy. I mean, you look at Luton. Look at Luton now. They've gone down, and they were in the Premiership the season before. Mm-hmm. If that doesn't tell you anything, do you know what I mean? It's incredible.
Well, league,
such a hard league, and you've got those little teams, the small teams that come up from the third tier, from League One. They come up and they play someone that's just got relegated from the Premiership, and it's like their cup final. It's like a cup final every single week. It's like it's their cup final. They want to push above. They want to play, harder. They want to play harder. They want to get above to really, you know what I mean, to go ahead. It's mad.
But what do you think that the issue is, though? Because obviously, like all 3 promoted teams from last season from the Championship are relegated. From the Premier League. What's your take on that? Because obviously it's been
difficult when you get to the promised land. It's like, if you haven't seen it or done it, probably the previous season, if you've seen how it is and you get relegated and you come back up again, you've probably got more of a understanding of how it works. To stay in the Premiership from you've just come from the Championship, it's completely different. It is completely different ball game. It's Championship can be really physical. Do you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden you play like that up there, you're getting loads of cards. And it's not like that at all. It's completely different. You have to, I think, when you drop, I mean, like, I don't know, teams like, how can I say? Probably someone like either Hull or Stoke that have dropped and then come back up again. Obviously, they've gone back down now, but when they dropped and come back up again, and they've seen what it's about, and I think you have to drop back down again to go back up again to see. It's very hard to stay up there. I mean, it's like I've got to give absolute credit to like Nottingham Forest, for example.
Mm.
I mean, they've just excelled, and I mean, you look at another team, Leicester City. I know they've come back. I know they've come back down again now, but from where they were, from where Leicester City were, and you've got to big up like Nigel Pearson. You know Nigel Pearson for what he done in prior to Ranieri, and do you know what I mean? Prior building from time ago, to get them blocks going when they were right down in the when they were right down, and that to me is the right way to go about building. The same as look at Birmingham. They've gone down, they've come back up again now, and they're doing it the right way, the slow way. Just take time to build. Not rushing anything, and yeah, it's incredible. Like I say, who'd ever thought that Leicester City would have won the league? Who'd ever have thought that? Do you know what I mean? No one would have, what was it, 5,000 to 1 or something at the beginning of the season that they won it? But that's, you got to big up Ranieri, but you also have to big up Nigel Pearson for what he done in the beginning, in the years prior to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's got to start somewhere, and I know it's tough. I mean, QPR were one of the original Premier League teams. When it first started. Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, for you,
I mean, we're in. Let's say we're in trouble, as in when Mark Hughes took it over, and I think we just basically got, we just got, let's say we just got a whole load of players that have been there and done that and thought, yeah, we can do that, and then it just, yeah, it just flopped. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, it's sad, but yeah, we're still suffering from that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that's the thing, when you're just in any league and you're just that mid-table, and that's what you aspire, is just to stay in the league, and I think that's what QPR are doing at the moment. Just stay in the championship for many years as you can. But
I mean, we had Mick Beale, which I thought he was a great manager, great coach, great manager. Mick Beale, he was doing ever so well with us, and then he left us to go to Glasgow Rangers, and this was like halfway into the season. We're like, look, what are we going to do now? Do you know what I mean? And I think if he would have stayed, I think we would have done okay with him. I mean, there's another a player we had called Nicky Wells. You heard of him? Nicky Wells.
I love the name.
Yeah, he Bermudan. He went. So he was at Burnley. Then we had him on loan, and he absolutely smashed it for us. And we only had him on loan, and there's somehow that we couldn't buy him or something, and Bristol City took him. But I think if we kept him, we would have definitely been in the Premiership. Mm-hmm. We would have definitely been in the Premiership, just like what Adel Taarabt did, what Neil Warnock let Adel Taarabt. He just let him play, let him run around ragged on the pitch, let him get on with it, and let him do everything he wanted to do. He got us into the Premiership.
He's a good little player, him.
Incredible. He was incredible.
Top.
Absolute player.
Yeah,
brilliant.
that's the thing, you know. I mean, we all know money makes the world go round. We all know, like, you know, the Premier League, the amount of TV money you get and everything, and you know, Sky. It's just, you know, the bigger teams with the big purses. They're the ones that, you know,
Yeah.
are doing well. That's why this season, like you said, like the Bournemouths, the Notts Forests, to see them doing
Yeah.
really
I
well in
mean,
the league.
I just, you know, look, Bournemouth, Brentford,
Mhm.
these two, like, no disrespect to them. A few years ago, they were like League One teams. You know what I mean? Now they've just completely switched round and really, you know, great management, great scouting is and great management. And you know, Brentford are going on to have they've got a new stadium now and you know, it's incredible.
Yeah, it's just good. It's good for football. You know, I'm a Liverpool supporter through and through, but I'm also a football supporter. So
Yeah.
to see
Yeah.
the teams get up there, you know, in the top 10, does make me
Yeah.
happy. And then seeing
Yeah.
Man United down in like 16th and Spurs in 17th, you know, they were
Mad, isn't it?
so close to getting relegated. They're lucky that three other teams were worse off than them because they'd be in the championship next season, which I would have
It's
loved, especially United, you know, to see them get relegated. But, you know,
it's
it just shows how competitive like the Premier League is.
big time. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, it's like, you know, I switching it around a bit. I remember when we actually dropped out of the championship, we went into uh, which was the old third division. When we actually went there, the funny thing is, a lot of my gigs were in these towns, and when I look back on it now, I think it's so funny because what I would do, I would, so obviously I'd have my diary with all my dates and everything in there, and the football fixtures were coming out like end of the fixtures would come out end of June, beginning of July, and I'd go, right, oh, I'm in that town. I'm playing in that town the week before. I wonder if they let me swap it round. And I'd get on the phone to the promoter. You don't think I could play the week after, do you? And I'd managed to switch, which I think it was a lot easier back them days because
Mhm.
I think there was less DJs. There was less, probably, I don't say less events, but I found it it's probably a lot easier. And playing in all these third tier clubs, you know, playing in their towns, and it was it's great because end up playing, watching the game, or either playing the night before, staying in a hotel, and then watching the game, and then going out somewhere else, which is. You know, again, look, the football and the gigs together. You know what I mean? But I was managed to do that quite a few times, line up the gigs with the football, which was I found fun. Do you know what I mean? So much fun.
Well, that's a smart thing to do. I
You
think.
know, and then you know, playing in the club, they all knew I was a QPR supporter, but it didn't matter. I'm coming for their gigs and fun, just fun.
Well, you know, that's a good segue into the music side of you. You know,
Yeah.
I kind of want to know, Nicky, because your roots, like, did your mum and dad? I think more so your mum, I think, because she was into jazz. But did your mum and dad influence you musically?
Oh, without a doubt, my mum definitely. Yeah, my mum definitely, because you know she she was a jazz dancer. She knew Cleo Lane, Johnny Dankworth, and Ronnie Scott even before he had his club. So uh, it used to when I was a kid listening to jazz growing up. It would I thought went in and one went out the other, but it went in and it went in the back of my head and lodged in the back of my head. And as time went on, when you're growing up, you start to mature with music, you know, and you start to, oh, I remember that sound, or remember that, you know, and it's funny because you mature with the music. So my mum had a big influence on me. God rest her soul. Yeah,
Oh,
definitely, without a doubt. Yeah,
I love hearing that because, you know, my dad was into like Black Sabbath, Deep Purple. He was the rocker, and my mum was the soul. You know, so I got the best of both worlds. But I was a messed up kid. I was a soul boy. I was a mod. I was a rocker. Like every other week, I was something different. But like, you know, it's music that like had still like you can still like be heavy metal and have heart and soul, you know, to it. Like
without a doubt, without a doubt.
Deep
Yeah.
Purple for me
Oh
just
my God, Purple. I mean, you look at the breaks in the you know, on the drums. Those breaks. Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah.
yeah, me some like me granddad, like you know, I'd come downstairs sometimes to the match and like I'd be in a pin suit and he'd be like, "All right, I thought you were a rocker." I'm like, "Nah, I'm done with that, granddad." He's like, "That was like a week ago," you know. So it was just I was just music just moved me. I mean, for you, like, I mean, at 14, you know, you're DJing like that. You know, back in the day, for me, being 14, I was probably just picking my nose, kicking a ball. But I mean, you're actually like, you know, DJing.
I mean, it's like I'm thinking about it. You know, it's music. I was just heavily into music from a very young age, and you know, back then. It wasn't known, oh yeah, I want to be a DJ or whatever, I want to be a disc jockey. It wasn't really a thing like it is today. Do you know what I mean? It weren't like that back then. Remember doing house parties with Clarky that used to be in my shop with me, and he also was one of Goldie's residents at Metalheads, and you know, I would walk with the turntables down the high street. You couldn't do that now. Do you know what I mean? So we've just had curtains over the top, and we used to carry them from like a mile up the road. You know, that's what we did. You know, wire up all the thing, wire up all the system, play all night. Me and him would play the whole night, and then undo it all again, and then walk again. Do you know what I mean? Take them back home again, and yeah, it's the love for it. You know, it was yeah, it was a different era. It was crazy, and I mean, also look back at like the whole pirate radio thing. Pirate radio, I think, um, everywhere in urban areas, you know, was so imperative to all the music scenes.
Mhm.
Very, 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 very important. You know, uh, you're promoting the music, you're promoting the gigs, you're promoting the sound. The people go, and then yeah, I had the record shop for 25 years, nearly 25 years. I had the record shop, and you know that the whole pirate radio thing was imperative for you know, I'd play on the radio on Sunday night, and then Monday morning come, everyone would be a queue. Ah, that tune you played the night last night, blah blah blah, on the radio, you know, and it was important to tell the people what the tunes were, or what label it was, or what, you know, find out very, you know, it's important. Information, the information center.
Well, I think like pirate radio was the internet of today, you know, because that's
Right, it was,
where
and that's what it
you learned
was. Yeah,
everything. You know, I mean, I listened to so many pirate radio stations back in the day that, you know, I'd have me pad and paper, you know, my pen and paper, and writing like what I was hearing the DJ playing.
yeah. I mean, it's like, you know, in the early '90s, probably mid '90s, there was uh, a big jungle scene in Toronto, in Canada, and those how all those DJs became big and known was from the tape packs. was from either the raves from like the big raves like Dreamscape and Helter Skelter and the Sanctuary, Milton Keynes and Shepton Mallet and even like bowlers in bowlers in Manchester, Birmingham NEC, all these Kings Lynn Showground and all these things that they had them on, and obviously all the local pirate radio stations, all the big pirate radio stations, tapes. Everyone had tapes. They used to boot them back in Canada and sell them, and that's how people became big out in Toronto, and that's how the scene began out there, from just those, which you could say is the old school internet. Same thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's one of the biggest things I kind of miss, back in the day as well, is just the record shop, because,
it was the meeting point. It was
exactly.
Meeting point and the flagship for the scene. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't just go there to buy vinyl. I went there to chat.
And connect with people. Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, meet like-minded people, who are still some of my mates to this day.
And I must admit, I learned on the job how to buy and sell records in a big way. And, you had someone to bring a box of tunes in, and you'd know if it was going to be a big record. When the needle hit the record, you knew if it was going to be big, and you'd have to put your balls on the line. And a player was like, right, how many of them you got? I've got 1,000 in the car, but I've got to sort out this shop. No. And you if you got faith in it, let me take the lot. And they're like, take the lot? Yeah, let me take the lot. I'll pay you next week. Don't worry about sale or return. I'll give you all the money next week. 9 times out of 10, they said, okay, don't have to go anywhere else. And that's when the whole promo thing for the DJs came along as well. So they said, oh, okay, look, can you give 20? Can you give it to like Brian G, Jack Frost, Kenny Ken, Rap, Randall, God rest his soul? Can you give it, can you give them to all, and that's how the whole promo thing started from my shop. Give out all the promos to the DJs as well. So come next week, they're gone. They're all gone. We need to do a repress. They need to get a repress done. There was probably 1% that some of them turned around and went, no, I can't leave them all here. And then you turn around and go, all right then, write you a check now. I will write you a check right now. What can they say? Here's the money. Do you know what I mean? You had to have that kind of faith in the tune. If you had that kind of faith, then, and the thing is, didn't even take a week to sell all of them. They're gone. You know what I mean? You couldn't get it anywhere else anyway. Do you know what I mean? Everyone would come down and it would be, it'd be like when the shop was really busy and, we'd put the tune on you drop it from where the drop is, and all the hands would be like shuffling cards over the counter. That's 20 gone already within a couple of minutes. You know what I mean? Boom. And I look back on it and I think that it was just fun times. It was just fun. It weren't about nowadays people go into business and it's like, well, I've got a 4 or 5 year plan. There weren't no fucking plan. There weren't no plan. It was just, hey, we're making money as we're going along as well. We're making dough. That's a bonus. You know what I mean? It was just fun. Going to work, going to the shop was just, I'd be lying if I said I didn't miss it now. It was fun. It was just absolute out and out fun. It weren't working. It was just having a laugh. It's crazy.
Well, I mean, it was a big part of the community. That's what I hear. I never made it up there, but I know for a fact, like it was a big part of the community. It was always talked about, and 25 years to own a record shop is amazing.
Yeah.
And owning a business for that long, but as you said, like, just to be able to,
And I'm still out and about playing all over the place. Thank the Lord. Thank the Lord. I'm still living the dream.
Mhm.
Don't get me wrong. It could be hard sometimes. You're out on the road. I did the other week. I did 4 gigs, and on the last gig, I drove straight to Gatwick to get on a plane to go and play for Slip Back in Time in Ibiza. And didn't go to bed, but that's what you do sometimes. It's not. This ain't a 9 to 5, but it is still fun.
Well, that's the thing. I think when you wake up and you love what you do, because there's so many people that have, you can tell like that lawyers, doctors, but they wake up and probably quite a few of them. It's all about just making money, and I just think like I'm happy with the way I am, because I wake up every morning with a smile on my face because I love what I do, and for yourself, I think it comes out, when you DJ, it comes out in your sets, and I think we live in this world at the moment where obviously the DJ is the rock star, the center of attention, and as well as I do, like the DJ was hidden when we started.
There you go, in the corner.
Yeah.
And that didn't bother me. That never bothered me.
Mm-hmm.
It was just nice to be playing the tunes and making people dance. You are the Pied Piper. Do you know what I mean? You're the Pied Piper making everybody dance. That was the greatest thing.
What's your thoughts on then? Because I always like to ask this from the old schoolers. The phone situation, like you've got more people standing around than dancing. And again, I always say this, it's called dance music for a reason, because you dance, I mean, I've seen some videos on YouTube, and for me, if I was playing to a crowd and I looked out and there was just nothing but, cameras back at me, I would probably just press stop. And I just do it.
Let me say my thing on it. So we're living in a different time. The way you got to look at it is we're living in a different time. If everybody's got their camera and they're holding their thing up, that's still engaging with you. They're still engaging with you, regardless of they're not going mad or whatever. If they got their camera up filming you, they're still engaging with you. So you have to look at, we're living in a different time, and I just think that's the way I look at it. We're in a different age now. As long as everyone's enjoying themselves, it doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean? We're just, and then on another note of, you could say, what do you prefer, then or now, or what era? I can't say. I can't say what era, because it's so great to have the depth of all that under my belt. I'm blessed. Do you know what I mean? I could go and play 4 or 5 genres of the same music, but different genres as in eras. Do you know what I mean? I could play an 89 house set. I could play a 92 hardcore set. I could play a 94 jungle set. Play a current jungle set. I could play a current D&B jump up set. Whatever. You know what I mean? It's like, it's nice to be able to play the varies within our music. Our music spans 35, 36, 37 years or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Of our music. It's just nice. So I couldn't even answer what's your best era. All of it. I would say the whole lot. Do you know what I mean? It's just nice still and I'm still playing new music.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still playing new music. So it's great, to play to lots of kids and then play to people our age. It's great to have that sphere of, I can indulge in, you know what I mean? That's what keeps me probably as I am. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. It's great because, like, music is just like fashion. There's a resurgence in certain types of
Like
genres,
that.
and
Yeah,
and obviously, drum and bass kind of went underground for a while. Now you've had Chaz and Status come out with some tracks that have just blown up, and like the younger generation like want to hear more drum and bass, which is
yeah,
so good to see and to hear.
yeah,
All these drum and bass events are getting packed, which is great, but it's also great to have DJs like yourself who can play whatever set, and for the younger kids to start listening to like classics and kind
yeah.
of what's
Look, Chase and Status a few years ago now. Chase and Status done a tour thing. Done a tour thing called Return to Jungle. Do you remember that?
hmm
And they actually done a stream. I don't know if you see it. They actually done a stream in my old shop, which was became a barber's at the time. It became a barber's, and they'd done a stream in the basement of my old shop where I was on my floor. They'd done a stream, invited us all, the old staff, the old crew that used Ray Keith, me, and Clarkey, and Profile, and Crazy Legs, and all of us. Um, Miss Pink, and all of the original crew down there, that um to do the thing, and it was nice. It was nice to
yeah. Well, I mean, it's showing respect, but I'm just loving the kids where they'll come up and ask the DJ, obviously chain spotting, and they'll be like, what's that? And they're like, that's from 25, 30 years ago, and they're like, what? Just the seeing all the smiles on these kids
yeah. And
is
I recently, the other day, I did a DJ workshop. I did a DJ workshop in Lakota Club in Bristol, for Euphonic, and um, so there was turntables and there was CDJs, and majority of them, they wanted to know how they wanted to learn about the turntables, which I thought I was really chuffed about. They wanted to know about the vinyls, about mixing on the vinyls, which is nice.
yeah, it is. I mean,
Original art form.
mhm. Yeah, I don't understand the arguments though, the vinyl junkies to the digital. Hey, as long as the music that's coming
It
out,
doesn't matter. Yeah, that doesn't
it
matter.
doesn't
That
it
doesn't
doesn't
matter.
matter.
That doesn't matter at all. That shouldn't even be a discussion, to be honest. But yeah, but it was just nice that the kids wanted to know, and they wanted me to teach them about learning about the vinyl, which was great. It was lovely.
Well, I mean, I'd love to just be one of those kids and like have to listen to you. Like it would be just brilliant. I mean, you know your stuff, and it's so good to pass on what you know. I always find these like. I mean, it's a bit different. Like you've got the community ones where there's local DJs helping the youth, and then you've got the Pete Tongs that do the academies that are quite expensive. So the community ones I'm all about, because kids really want to know these days about
Yeah.
mu-
History and everything.
yeah,
Yeah, they want to know. They want to know. Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm with it 110% because
Brilliant.
it's just like my favorite in school was history because you can learn a lot from the past to make a better future. And I think that's how you should live your
Definitely.
life.
Yeah.
Music is the
Yeah.
same. You learn a lot of good from the past. But yeah, I mean, what's on the horizon for you? Because I know you make tracks like sporadically. Are we going to see more stuff from you in the future?
Yeah, I do collabs with people, and yeah, there's gonna be yeah, there's gonna be some more stuff coming soon. So yeah, yeah, obviously got the cartoons label. got a new one from Juice Man coming at the end of June, and I'll be getting back in the studio as well. So yeah, good, all
Yeah,
good.
yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But on the DJ horizon, because you know the US, I'd say in the early like 2000s had a really healthy drum and bass scene with AK 1200, Diesel Boy, Dara. It's kind of gone a bit more underground. Any chance you're coming to the States?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Try and line something up for the World Cup, to be honest. Yeah.
Ah, see, you're using the brain. Get the gigs in the same town that the footy is playing. Yeah, see, using your noggin. That's good. No, that's a very smart thing to do. You know, like no, I've spoken to so many
Yeah,
guests.
I mean, I remember going to the 2006 World Cup, I think it was. 2006 World Cup in Germany, and I went to all the England games, went to every England game, and played throughout the whole tournament over in Germany.
Hmm.
I played in Germany throughout the whole tournament, um, and went to every England game. That was fun. That was fun. I remember. I remember when we got knocked out by Portugal, um, on penalties. I do believe it was on penalties, when Wayne Rooney nicked, um, Ronaldo. He kind of clipped him, and then he got sent off for that. And then Sven was playing for the penalties, got to the penalties, and we got knocked out. I remember that drive was so long. So that game was in Schalke Stadium, which is in Gelsenkirchen. To go from there all the way down to, um, Stuttgart. I played in Stuttgart that night, and two drivers, they met in the middle, like halfway through, and it was a really long drive, and it was even longer because we'd lost. I mean, it was really, it was kind of the end of, I would have gone to the final. I would have gone to the final to got tickets. I could have got tickets to it. That was the quarter final, I think it was, and you know, I could have got tickets for the semi and the final if we were in it. So, um, and I was literally out there, still out there, because I played every week when the tournament was on. Every weekend, I played 3 times 1 point, twice another, 4 times on another weekend. So played the whole month. It was amazing. It was amazing. But yeah, try and do something like that for America, I reckon.
Yeah, yeah. But, I
If
mean,
I can.
well, but at least the good thing is, that a lot of cities have games. Texas already has Dallas and Houston, so I'm sure there's God knows how many states actually have games.
Yeah.
So
The
yeah,
only problem with that is you're cut in between as well, Canada and Mexico. So it's not just in your country; it's in Canada and Mexico. So that make it a bit, yeah. Depending if playing one up there and another game over there could be a bit difficult. But yeah,
yeah,
we'll look at when all the fixtures come out. We'll look at it then.
yeah. Well, one of my last questions for you, Nicky, is where do you see like the drum and bass scene in the next 5 to 10 years?
It's not going anywhere. It's People thought that our music was going to die a long time ago, and it's not going anywhere. It's just going to evolve and go in and go into something else. Another door will open, another door. It's like our music has opened doors for other music. Just like another branch off a tree. You look at like the whole dubstep thing, come out of our music, and I could see other things coming out of our music. So, and then you've got people that have crossed over and become, they've got big hits commercially, but they're still big on the underground. They've still got respect on the underground. You can't get any better than that. Do you know what I mean? So our music's not going anywhere. It's staying there. It's still here. It's proven. You know what I mean? Still here. It's great.
Yeah, well, it is. I mean, it's like I said, I think maybe back in the day when you had like a commercial hit, you kind of be looked at a bit differently. I've had, some guests on that have told me some stories. They've had like hit records, and maybe out of jealousy or out of, you're commercial now, but they'd still, have underground tracks. That's the whole
Down, yeah,
part
and
of it.
still becoming underground. So that's where it's going to survive. It's going to go through.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Gonna
it's not
keep on.
it's not the artist's fault that if a track gets commercialized and makes them money.
No,
It's just that's just the way things work. Sometimes you'll just hit something and people will eat it all up. But I can finally say you're off my bucket list as a guest. I truly am honoured because I know you're a busy man, and you are you're a pioneer of this scene. And I was telling my mate Justin, who's a massive drum and bass head as well, who puts on and plays events here in Austin. And I've lived over here quite a long time now. And he's been there since day one, pushing drum and bass, and he still does it. And
and that's what it's all about. It's all about little pockets of scenes around the world that link up, and they're everywhere around the world. It's wonderful. It's brilliant. It's brilliant to see. When you go on tours, it's just great to see that. It's so great.
yeah, it really is. So again, I thank you so much for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure for me.
Brilliant.
Now,
Wonderful.
where can obviously people can listen to your music on Beatport, Spotify, all that. But do you have do you have Bandcamp?
No, no, I don't. No,
Oh,
no,
yeah, you're one of the first ones to tell me no. Oh, wow. I'm
no.
surprised.
Yeah, just Beatport and Spotify and can hear a lot of sets, a lot of old school sets on YouTube.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I've listened to quite a few old sets on YouTube, and yeah, just to scour the net. Just type my name in and scour the net.
Well, like I always say, thank you everyone for listening. Please like and subscribe, put your notifications on. And I'm sure you get so bored of me saying this, but please go out and check out new music, but also check out old music as well, because it could be new to you. Go see that DJ you've never heard of in town. He might be your favorite DJ after that gig. Same with a band as well. But till next time, please stay safe, look after each other, because we do live in a bit of a crazy world. But until next time, thanks for listening, and we'll see you later.
See ya.